Hi, this is Julie from Love's Beginning, and I feel a little silly because the message I have to deliver seems so simple, and so I resisted it a bit, but it was go where you're attracted and move away where you're repulsed. And when I got that, I thought, okay, well, everybody knows that, right? But what I'm going to receive gets into the mechanics of that a little bit and helps us understand where we're still attached to resistance, where we would choose resistance and the experience of my will be done over thy will be done, meaning there is a separate self we think of ourselves as, and that separate self is vulnerable. That's the one that can be hurt in some way. Um, when we're identified with that self, we're identified with my will be done. When we start to understand our true identity as the harmonic self, then we're toggling over into thy will be done. And we can feel when we're choosing my will versus thy will. Thy will is just, it's your true will. It's the unified will for healing and peace and joy, and the expansion and sharing of that and the forgiveness of all. And it's what everybody really wants. Everybody really wants underneath the same thing. So if you look at the most heinous act committed, it's committed because that one believes that one will get some kind of peace, or release, or loss of torment by imposing a will. So really, the unified will is always for peace, for joy, for expansion. And as we all come back into the awareness of that, um, our actions and our speech reflect that. So, go where you're attracted and move away where you're repulsed. The first thing I was told about it is repulsion and fear are kind of related, but there's a neutral repulsion. When attraction and repulsion are in balance, it's not like you're even guided. Everything just unfolds. Everything just unfolds with ease. And you're steered here and steered there by what or whom? By who we really all are, by the unified, thriving self that we all share. It's you're never guided by who you're not. Um, Only a figment of our imagination can guide us in imagination and in the dream state into doing things that apparently harm others. Um, this is this is the dream aspect that we cling to, that we attach to, that we keep stringing along and continuing in time. But when we turn to the unified self, we I wouldn't say we collapse time. I was listening to David Hoffmeister the other day, and if you haven't checked him out, he has some wonderful things to say. It's David Hoffmeister. Um, he was saying, well, we don't collapse time. It's not like it's something we do, but well, the image I'm given is we allow the perception of time to kind of go down the drain. So I'm bringing in a lot of different things here, but I'll come back to the attraction versus repulsion. Repulsion kicks in as dominant if you find yourself in a situation and you're feeling repulsed. Repulsion kicks in as dominant when we haven't been listening to attraction. So when repulsion kicks in as dominant, we very often believe that there's something to fear, that we're feeling repulsion because that person is evil, or that this situation is wrong. Or the thing is, that person is always love, and there truly is nothing to fear. However, when we are attached to fear, we continue to project that fear outward. And so we will call fearful experience to ourselves as a proof of the apparent reality of the substitute we've made for what's truly real, for love. So I think I better slow down and go back over that. If we're at all fearful, and we all are to some degree, we call some amount of fearful experience to ourselves, and then we use that as the proof to say that we should continue to cling to fear. Fear is what we are not. Fear is the figment that we use to make this experience. Um, what always underlies the what is always the foundation of the figment, or if you could say it completely encompasses it, it's, completely surrounds whatever, like multiplying figments, like making the world it's, that we have going on here with our thoughts and then the experiences that come after those thoughts believed. It's always surrounded and encompassed by love. And when we start just going where attraction leads us, the world around us begins to change. Is it because the bad people got arrested and stopped? It looks that way in the story. If you're going to refer to the story that we're living, the drama that we're living, the drama that we all chose, then it's going to look to be because some bad people got arrested and stopped, and the good people came in and saved the day. But remember, everybody's playing a divine role, and everybody helps us drill down really deep to wanting peace above everything else. And if you weren't disturbed by anything, you might just hang out in time forever, or just hang out in making and extending this illusion, of strife, of back and forth, of good and bad forever. So everything that happens helps us drill down deep and remember who we are, remember how this works, and allow ourselves to be guided by what we are. Allow ourselves to very easily go where attraction leads us. Now, what would stop us from going where attraction leads us? One thing is the idea of discipline. And I'm told there's really only one discipline that you need, and it is remembering the present moment, remembering who you are, remembering what all power is, just stopping and reconnecting and remembering, and letting everything come from that. And then they draw my attention to, if I notice I'm trying to control anything on the surface of the world, I am saying my will be done, not thy will be done, not the will of us all together harmonically. And so I'm opposing harmony. I'm not bad because I'm doing that. I'm just coming into remembrance. I gotta calm myself on the bad good thinking wherever it pops up, and we should call each other on it too, and help each other remember, because our language takes us there. We can go there very, very easily into this bad good thinking. So when I'm using a discipline to do anything other than come into remembrance and allow the present moment to instruct me and guide me, I am still opposing harmony and love because I fear it. So if I just recognize that, I can just ask for assistance. I can feel this tension, and I can feel myself kind of forcing an agenda that feels like my own, like, the agenda of a separate person. I must and will do thus and such, and I'm going to do it with stress and in opposition to others, and I don't care. And okay, so whenever the stress is coming up, we all have a very loving non-physical team surrounding us, and they will give us an energetic massage anytime we ask for it. We just have to be willing to receive it. So if we just stop and say, okay, I feel the tension and the stress arising in me. I feel I have an agenda that I think I need to push or force through. I feel myself getting worked up about something. I must be pursuing my own ends, the ends of a fictional entity that is not, in my mind, harmonically joined with all others. So, having recognized that, I'm willing to receive. I just hear energetic massage. I'm willing to receive that. I'm willing to have my perception corrected. And it might take a minute or a day or a week, but eventually something pops in, or I wake up the next morning just feeling different, just seeing things slightly differently, like, okay, I get this now. I'm much better able to just go where I'm attracted and not have intense experiences of repulsion that would cause me to blame something in the world. When I'm blaming something in the world, I still do. um, I realize afterwards I was just very confused. I was going to an aspect of the illusion and giving it a power it just has never ever had. The illusion is what we project. The illusion is what we spin out um, through time, and we're doing it. We're doing it together. So no matter what story we have of somebody else doing something to us, we're all doing this together, and we're in charge of where it goes next. So the idea of discipline is something that can seem to stand between you and simply following where attraction leads, or even beyond the concept of attraction, beyond the concept of guidance, simply being in the flow and just going with it beyond all concept. The fact that I'm even able to conceptualize about beyond all concept now is, I want to say progress, but that's linear. But it's like, okay, I am coming back into remembrance. I'm recognizing that we don't even need concept. Where this whole illusion we're experiencing is concept built, but there is something beyond concept, and that is the unity of us all, and that guides us very simply, or we flow along with it very simply as we are when we just return to recognize, rediscover that simplicity. But while we're still attached to concepts, and I'm still attached to plenty, ask my kids about brushing teeth. I'm still attached to concepts. I still nag them. Um, the other thing I'm told that stands between what I would think of as me and the idea of flow, there really is no separation though, um, is judgment. So when I'm attached to a judgment, I feel like I have to sneeze here, so excuse me if I do. When I'm attached to a judgment, um, I am blocking. I'm blocking what's here for me in every moment. I'm really busy over concepts and figuring things out and knowing things. I don't know why I said it that way. It was almost like making fun of the idea of thinking you know stuff that actually turns out to be crazy later. Usually it's like suppositions and accusations, and he did this and she did that, and someone else is responsible for my lack of alignment right now. Um, so when we think we know things, and the things we know are stressful and accusatory and tied in with victim stories, we don't know anything at all. We're attaching to a judgment, and I just did it yesterday, and we are kind of standing between what we regard as ourselves and the flow that would simply take us through the day in joy and ease and relaxation. Now, why would we block out all this joy and ease and relaxation? Think about the work ethic. Think about the idea of starvation looming over your head. Think about all the things we've been taught to keep us in fear, but we're not a victim of that teaching. It's part of our projection. The world that we're experiencing seemingly now or in the past, all concept is the past. So it's not like it was done to us. It seems to have been done to us. And coming into remembrance is very, very simple. It's always very simple, and it never involves naming a wrongdoer, because there is only one of us. And so coming into remembrance is just coming back to that. So I'm advised, go where you're attracted, move away where you're repulsed, move away without judgment where you're repulsed. That can be a hard one. Sometimes we find the experience of repulsion distressing and disturbing. So we want to, instead of just going where guidance would have had us gone in the first place, if we had not allowed discipline and judgment to guide us away from where attraction was leading us anyhow, we find the need to emote or accuse or struggle, let somebody else know about who knows what they didn't need to know about from us, um, instead of just going, instead of just realizing, oh, I must have been ignoring how I felt, because how we feel will guide us. And we'll feel very good when we're just flowing with all that we are and all that all others are too. We're here to sort all of that out. And as we come back into remembrance, we're going to run into all our judgments and our fears, and have these experiences where we have the opportunity to say, oh, I'm just going to understand what repulsion is telling me now, and I'm going to go left. And I don't have to tell the other guy why I'm going left, or that I think he did something wrong, so now I have to go left. Like, I should have gone left in the first place. And the other guy has nothing to do with it. So, just very, very simple messages, very simple guidance. And when we become accustomed to setting discipline down, any discipline but the discipline of the mind to remember, or in judgment down, um, and the discipline that like would discipline our actions comes from judgment, comes from saying this or that fearful thing must be vanquished, and so I will discipline myself to do this or not do that. um, when we trust in the moment, then we trust more in the moment. It expands. So first we just have to give it a try. And after I had a couple of spiritual awakening experiences that they were big ones. They seemed like big deals. They could be experiences that I could refer to and say, oh, I had a big experience. I'm a chosen one. I'm like different from everybody else. That's not true at all. A spiritual awakening can come slowly and gradually. It can come overnight. You can have big technical or mystical experiences or none at all. It can be extremely ordinary or very impressive. It can be any of those things. But after what I called my big experiences, I after the first one, I would think of it like my trier broke. My trier broke. Where's my trier? And my trier wasn't broken at all, actually, because I could still struggle and try. But to a very large extent, a lot of the things that I had been struggling after trying to do just fell away. They were just gone. And so I felt like my trier was broken, and it was very interesting, but it was a gift because it set me on the path of understanding what it is we're trying to do when we're disciplining ourselves and how we're ignoring where attraction will lead us. Now, sometimes attraction leads us to a sort of plan or sort of discipline, or maybe a change in our daily activities. But the temptation there is to make it a philosophy and to take it over and to enact it. And to say, this is the way I will live now, and I'm in charge of following these rules I made for myself. So it's just interesting to see where attraction leads us. Maybe we're going to eat some different foods, but the foods don't have to have any particular significance. It's just where we happen to be going now. Maybe we're led to do some different activities, but we're not led to judge others as either being okay or not okay because they're doing or not doing this and such activities. So it's a being led through change in a way that still recognizes that others are perfectly placed, even and especially when they're doing the opposite of what you're doing. Everything is harmonic and lined up. And if we just let go and allow that harmony to unfurl, there is no need to judge where anybody else is going because they're going to the same place. They are in the same place. They are you, and they always have been. And there's no need to judge it. So the two things, judgment and discipline them. Discipline, like I'm going to have it my way right now. I'm going to arrange my life in a perfect way right now. If I can drop those, I'm more in touch with attraction and repulsion. If I'm more in touch with attraction and repulsion, I don't need to let the repulsion like bulge and grow because I'm ignoring the attraction until I bump into it and have a horrible experience, want to blame somebody or something for it. And beyond all that, beyond the idea of attraction or repulsion and all the concepts associated with it, there is a state that is just kind of no thought, just unfolding. And it's not necessarily a goal because who can have a goal? um, but it is part of the process of remembrance and how it looks and feels to us. So I'm going to invite myself today to listen to attraction, and I'm going to invite myself to laugh if I run into an experience of intense repulsion. And I'm going to invite myself to remember you are just getting a signal that you forgot. And it's okay, you can remember now, and it has nothing to do with anybody else. So enjoy and go where you're attracted. Thanks.